Hey everybody, and welcome to another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. Today we're doing something special. We're taking off our Sandia Mountain Natural History Center hat and putting on our Museum of Natural History and Science hat. Today we're visiting a super secret government installation here in downtown Albuquerque where they store thousands upon thousands of dead creatures. Luckily, we got some special access. Let's go check it out. So we've gotten special access to be in this really cool place. This is Nicole, the geoscience collections manager at the Museum of Natural History and Science. And Nicole, where the heck are we?
We are in the museum's geoscience collections, where we house fossils and rocks.
Wow. And so why is all this stuff here? Why is the museum storing all this stuff?
Well, so only a small percentage of the museum's fossils are on display over in the museum. We actually have a huge collection of fossils behind the scenes. And this collection serves almost like a library. We do research. We have curators who do scientific research about the history of life on Earth. We have visitors, researchers who come from all over the world to study our fossils. And so our fossils serve as the data for their research.
So Nicole, this one looks kind of familiar. What is this?
This is part of the Lamy amphibian bone bed.
Huh. So does that mean that this is Cuscananodon?
Correct?
Ah, this one should look pretty familiar. We have a piece of this up at the Sandia Mountain Natural History Center. If you want to see that video, check it out. So we got some real science going on. This is one of the museum volunteers, Janina. And Janina, what are you working on?
I am identifying specimens that will be photographed and put on our website for scientists to study. So these are some little tiny animals like shrews and such that are about 35 to 38 million years old.
So Nicole, this one is huge. What is this?
So this is part of Seismosaurus. This is part of Seismosaurus's backbone.
Huh. You know what? So this looks very familiar. I think looks a lot like the mastodon tusk that Toby and I put up in our museum up at the center. So is this a mastodon?
It's a stegomastodon.
Huh.
It's about 3 million years old and it was found at Elephant Butte.
Is this the one that the guys in the bachelor party down at Elephant Butte found?
Yeah, it is. The water levels were low and they stumbled across it.
Very cool. So I guess on the other side is all the big bones, and I guess all these cabinets are full of little bones?
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of small bones. That's most of what makes up our collection.
Huh. And yeah, what do we got here?
So here's an example of one of the smallest things that we have. This is a teeny tiny mammal tooth from a mammal that lived in the 10 million years after the dinosaurs went extinct.
So they were able to identify that tiny thing as a bone.
Yep, it's a tooth.
That's incredible. So we're in the prep lab with Justy, the chief fossil preparator. And so what happens here, Justy? How does this work?
So often when we retrieve fossils from the field, we'll actually get them wrapped in plaster bandages. So when they come here, we'll often take off the top of the plaster and then start working our way through the rock down to the fossil, which should be most likely at the bottom of the jacket, which is what we call that.
Cool. And how long does it take on average? I know they're all different, but
Sure.
For a fossil to go from rock and plaster to back in the collection.
Sure. So like you say, it varies greatly. It depends mostly on the density of the rock that's around it, how hard the rock is, and the quality of the bone itself. But something about this size, for example, in front of us has been worked on probably for about the last 6 months already.
So now we're in the Bioscience collection with Lindsay, the Bioscience collections manager. And Lindsay, I don't think a lot of people realize that the Museum of Natural History and Science here has a Bioscience collection. We're known for dinosaurs. So what's up with the Bioscience collection?
Yeah, so in our Bioscience collection, we have everything that's considered modern day living. And so we have plants, animals, birds, insects, mollusks. If you can see it outside now, we probably have it.
So Lindsay, these look like barn owls, is that right?
Yeah, so these are our barn owls and our bird collection. And this is just one of the many collections that we have in our Bioscience area. And so what I'm holding here is what's called a study skin. So all of our specimens are prepared in a way that is used for research. So we have our skin, and then we also have the skeletons of each specimen. And each specimen also has all of these tags on them that include all of their data, which is very important for our researchers.
So Lindsay, this is a pretty big specimen. What do we got going on here?
So this is a bison skull that is going to go on exhibit here soon for a Turner exhibit with other paleontological bison from New Mexico. And this skull came to us about 20 years ago.
That's interesting. So I'm curious, when a specimen comes in, does it always come in like just bone form like this, or does it still have like the meat on it and eyeballs and brains? Or?
It definitely varies. Sometimes we'll get them like this, but other times we will get them with all their meat and bones and skin still on. In that case, we have to skin them and deflesh them, and we do that by either boiling the flesh off, burying the specimen in the ground so that it can naturally deteriorate, or we use what are called dermestid beetles that we have a colony of that eat all of the flesh off the bones.
Huh, that's fascinating. So it's not like mechanically done, we let nature do it, huh?
Mostly let nature do it. I could definitely take a few steaks off of it, but otherwise it's beetles eating it up.
So it looks like we got a whole rodent collection here.
Yeah, so these are our mammal collections, small mammal collections. And I'm currently holding what's called the banner-tailed kangaroo rat that was collected by one of our previous curators.
Huh. And I'm noticing we have a lot of specimens of the same thing. How come we have to have like more than one specimen of each creature?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the reason why we have to collect so many individuals of each species is because when our curators and researchers do their research, they have to be able to have a large enough population size to be able to actually do and answer the questions that they're trying to look into. And so this means that we have to collect in different spots and then also over time to see any changes.
Oh.
So it might look like a lot, but each of these are not only an individual, and so they will differ from each other, but they've also been caught in different places and at different times.
Makes perfect sense. Cool. So not all scientists wear lab coats. This is Aaron, a graduate student at the University of New Mexico studying museum studies. And what are you working on here, Aaron?
Yeah, so I'm working on a few projects during my time here. One big project that I'm working on is getting the digitization of the herbarium specimens up and running. And the end result will look like this image here, which allows for more data to be available to researchers on a larger scale.
That is really fascinating. So this is the Biosciences lab. This looks a little different than the geoscience lab. How do you prepare your specimens in here?
Yeah, so this is the table that I prepare all of our specimens on. So the bird collection that you saw earlier, this is one of our carcasses of a crow that will be prepped in this lab and then be put into the collection at some point. A lot of our other specimens too get prepped in here, so all of these jars house what's called our wet collection. So these are specimens that need to be preserved in alcohol. So usually soft-bodied individuals that either live in the water, like fish and insects, or also things like amphibians and reptiles.
So it looks like we got a plant specimen here. That's a little bit more up my alley. So tell us a little bit about how the museum deals with plant specimens.
Yeah, so this is a specimen from our herbarium. It had to be flattened in a plant press and then glued onto this piece of paper. One of the unique things about collections is that we have to use very specialized materials to keep these specimens preserved. Because one of my jobs is to keep every single one of these specimens for this museum forever. And so we have to make sure that it doesn't change or get chemically altered by interacting with paper. And then it gets stored in these cabinets away from the light and from pests and from temperature changes. And hopefully this will still be here even after I'm dead.
So Lindsay, we're in a room here in New Mexico. How do scientists from around the world, how do they access our collections?
Yeah, so that can usually happen with a couple of ways. So sometimes it's just our curators are working with other research associates at other universities. But recently we managed to get all of our data, and we're working on getting pictures of our specimens up into a database called Arctos. And Arctos is a publicly accessible database that anybody can take a look at. So not only can the general public take a look at what we have, but this also allows anybody from around the world to know what we have and then request access to see them.
So the general public can get this?
Yes.
Link down below. Hopefully you've seen that the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science isn't just a cool place to go see dinosaurs and other interesting artifacts. It's a place where science is still going strong and we're still learning about our natural world. The museum has researchers crisscrossing the globe from Alaska to Central America and even all the way over to Mongolia. Well, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.